I love you guys.
Dance off, bro. I have the high ground.
Expecto Patronum!
39 days, 20 people, 1 survivor.
Tribe of Nerds.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. We are back this time to cover another movie series that we all kind of grew up with, or in Kevin's case, kind of just
Existed when I was a young adult.
But Kevin, Pirate Sarah, Cameron, and I are going to be covering the Pirates of the Caribbean series, starting with Curse of the Black Pearl. I can't speak. Yeah, so we'll be going through all 5 movies. So let's start with Curse of the Black Pearl. So what are your guys' impressions of the first movie?
I don't know, are there any pirates here that want to speak up on this?
Pirate Sarah?
Oh, I guess I will. I guess I am holding the Aztec gold, so that gives me permission to speak.
True.
I really did like this movie. I know I've told you guys this, but it came out when I was like 10 or 11, so I did end up going to see this like 2 or 3 times in the theater, Kevin. And I did really like it. I enjoy all things nautical, all things pirates. Being a kid, I loved it anyway. It was just exciting. The funny pirates, the lore of it, the gold, But then as an adult watching it back, I love it even more because even though it is a Disney movie, now as an adult, I would think it's going to be like, downplayed and it's going to be some musical bullshit. But I mean, this one it portrayed drinking, smoking. It had them girls in the Renaissance dresses with their big titties everywhere. Looking back, this was a very not Disney movie for Disney. And I really enjoyed it then and even more so now. So
I love that you enjoy that they were like slitting throats. Yeah. That's on brand.
I love it. Love bloodshed. Love a good murder.
It was Disney, so it was bloodless. But yeah, they were going up to the redcoats and just like
love it. Top scene right there. I love a good, snake in the night.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
That's why
Kevin,
me and Jeff Stein are such good friends.
Kevin, your thoughts on the first movie?
I would say, listen, there are definitely plot holes in this. Like, there are some things that I'm like, what? But it's a lot of fun. I can't help but like it. Like, I want to, like, just because Sarah likes it, I want to hate it. But like, I can't hate it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a good movie. Yeah,
it's good. Like, there are some things like I don't understand. Okay, so they at some point mutiny, leave Jack Sparrow stranded on the island.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows how he got off the island. I think it's the rum runners, right? They come back for their rum and they get him.
Yeah.
So after they mutiny him, they steal the gold, get cursed. Somehow Will's dad gives him the coin, but no one knows who Will is, but he's there when like he's on the ship that they attack. There's some things I'm like, how did Will get this coin and no one knows who Will is? And why does Elizabeth Swann wear it every day for the next 8 years? I don't understand. But you know what? It's cool, so it's fine.
Well, I could tell you, Elizabeth wears it because I know, like, when the ship in the beginning of the movie, like they see Will in the water and she's like, there's a boy in the water, and she like sees that he's got like the thing around his neck, and It's like before any of like her dad or anything has checked him out, so she took it, because if they found out that kid was from a pirate descendancy, they would have killed him right there probably, or just thrown him back in the water.
Yes, but then like normal human logic would be like, oh no, this denotes that you're a pirate, I need to hide this. And she's like, let me just like wear it every day, just like put it right here.
I don't know if she wore it every day, but she did have that secret little like drawer in her nightstand. They kind of
so like there's, and like this is the cursed coin that like no one's supposed to steal, and if you steal it, then you're cursed forever. But like, also everyone knows that that's a pirate thing, and only a pirate would have it. There's a little like, are you sure about this? This is a little just like thrown together. But then like the movie's so much fun and so good that like, who cares?
Yeah. I can agree with that. We'll get into more of the plot holes or like conveniences later. But Cameron, your thoughts on Curse of the Black Pearl?
It's a magical pirate movie with like magical objects. So I think some plot holes could be expected. But you do make valid points. You were talking there and I went right over my head because I was just having too much fun.
Right, exactly.
Like I took some notes and I was just like, I didn't even remember that Bootstrap Bill was such like an integral part of the story in the first one because of the fact that he gave him the coin, and it's the reason Jack knows who he is, kind of thing. Which is kind of funny because why would they think that it was Elizabeth Swann or a girl when they had young boy on the ship when they were attacked? Anyways, not important.
That's what I'm like. How did you not know who Will was? Like he was on the ship that you attacked. Which why did you attack it? And it just happened to be his ship, or he was on the pirate ship with you. So you should have known. So like, but also like, who cares? Because it's fun.
Yeah,
But
but like
I
that's the thing.
can't argue that point so bad. Like I have nothing.
It's exciting the full way through. Like from the moment he kind of comes down and the ship is sinking, you're like, okay, this is comedy, and then it goes into like an immediate chase scene. Sorry, my cat's meowing.
And that was a very loud meow.
Yeah.
Muffin,
Are you okay?
All right.
So does that make him the Muffin Man?
yes,
The Muffin Man.
That's him. That's you.
yes.
I will be right back.
All right.
Check on my kitty.
We'll just keep it going. All right. So yeah, I really enjoyed this at the time of watching it. I mean, I think this is one that I watched a couple years later because let's see, was I 7 when the first one came out? So yeah, I didn't see it directly when it came out. I started watching it in theaters on Dead Man's Chest. But I really do enjoy this movie still. Like a lot of things just work. I mean, the CGI still holds up 20 years later, which the same cannot.
The CGI holds up so well 20 years later. Like what?
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know how a 20-year-old movie is better CGI than movies now, but
I think it's because a lot of it, they didn't overdo it, or they didn't use it on things that like they could just create naturally. You know, like I did watch the behind the scenes thing and how they used a lot of like natural products or just like little concoctions of like just ingredients to make them look grimy, or like their fake teeth that they made like so comfortable for them and stuff that it just made it better. They didn't have to fake or force those things, so it didn't take away from that.
Right. But like the transition when they step into the moonlight and they like become skeletons, like that's done so well. Like
yes, yeah, that's
like that to this day they still do stuff like that off screen. Like they'll walk behind a pole to like hide that transition now 20 years later, and they did it so smoothly 20 years ago.
Yeah, and it's like repeated, like they do it over and over again.
It's not like they do it once just to show it and then like constantly like they walk behind the mast and now they're like, it's repeated. Like that's one of the big reveals, which like we know is coming because we see him take the coin. But like in that final battle, when he steps into the moonlight, like in front of us, he turns into a skeleton. It's like, God damn, this is so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's get into the movie, and Cam will rejoin when he gets back in.
We hope Muffin's okay.
So let's talk about the opening a little more, if we have any more to say on like Elizabeth and the British finding Will Turner and like in the shipwreck and getting the coin and all that, like this opening, and we get to meet Elizabeth, Keira Knightley, and Orlando Bloom as Will Turner when they're grown up. So any thoughts? I
mean, the fact that wasn't a trap for that ship is like the way they set up of like, don't trust anyone, there's pirates here. be careful in the fog. Like, stop even mentioning pirates. And then like you see the umbrella floating along, and you see the child, and it's like, don't help that child. That child is the son of a pirate, and that child, once you bring that child aboard, the pirates are coming aboard. So like, that was a good little misdirect.
Right.
Does it ever say how Will's mother died? Because now I'm wondering, with that woman's umbrella floating first, I wonder if maybe Will was on another ship with his mother.
I don't remember in any of these 3 movies if they go over that or
I guess
not.
that would just be a way to, like, you know what I mean, vindicate it. But I was just like, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's funny to see Gibbs on this ship too, knowing where Gibbs ends up, but like just because he is gonna be a pirate and like he's treated like he's not a pirate at the beginning. So
Totally agree.
I mean, in some way, don't we all become pirates eventually?
True.
We either die the Commodore or live long enough to become the pirate.
True.
Pretty much. Yep.
Yeah.
All pirates.
And any thoughts on like Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom in their roles before we get into Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow?
I think they were cast really good. I think that I can't remember if Lord of the Rings was already out by the time Pirates came out, but like he was just like kind of everywhere at that time, you know, so I think it was like good casting in that part, because I mean you just can't get over the chemistry between the 3. I mean it is so real.
It's so good.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Listen, in that if we're talking about him overall, I know it's the end of the movie, but him in that hat with the side up, like he looks like such a pirate. Like,
I know, yeah, I love it for sure.
Hold on, tiny hands.
And Natalie was good too, because damn it, I'm sure no, it was Natalie Portman. Never mind.
Well, Keira Knightley was one of the decoys in the Phantom Menace with Natalie Portman. Like she was in there because they look so much alike. So, which is a cool trivia fact there. But like, you know, again, perfect casting. I will say it's funny how like even later in the movie that Elizabeth is like still looks like she has a bunch of makeup on, like even when they're like stuck on a deserted island. And I'm like, why are you still like looking like amazing right now?
I mean, that's, if I ever go on Survivor, that would be my luxury item, is my eyeliner. Like, no joke. Like, it's a problem.
My luxury item be Kevin.
Never in my life.
I think I'd probably, like, no joke, want like toothpaste and a toothbrush as my luxury item, because I couldn't handle having like a dirty mouth on an island. But
I like to think that if Cam is on Survivor and he makes his loved one visit, that Victoria comes out and he's like, "Oh, it's supposed to be Kevin."
Yeah, like it zooms in on like our first like little whisper. I thought it would be Kevin.
Is he okay?
Like, Cameron, who do you want to see? Kevin. Well, we have Victoria.
Victoria just walks out
kidding.
slowly, like,
I'm
oh,
kidding.
I knew this was the greeting I would get.
So funny.
Can't ever visit Florida.
all right, well, let's get into the entrance of Captain Jack Sparrow, as Cam already alluded to earlier, with just the entrance of him like arriving on a sinking ship and just stepping off. It's so perfect. And like this is where we first also get like the iconic Pirates music as well, like start happening. Just like everything about this is just great and gets you immediately into wanting to see more of this character immediately.
I think it subverts your expectations really well, because it starts with just like the top of the ship, so you don't really know what to expect. He looks badass.
Yeah.
And then as it progresses, you're like, okay, so this is the pirate we're going to be watching, like this goofball who has an ego through the roof, but backs it up eventually with everything he does.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, again, like 20 years later, we still use that like gif of him like stepping off the boat, like, This is how my life is going right now. It's going down, but I'm just smiling and stepping on.
Oh, it's so good. Sarah, any thoughts on this iconic entrance?
Not much that can't be said. Yeah, it was great. I love him pulling up to port in a pure pirate fashion, not wanting to give up his name kind of thing. You know, obviously he knows he's branded as a pirate and stuff. So, but I just still don't see how the dockmaster just wasn't like, I mean, you look like a pirate, right? But whatever, that's besides the
I
point.
love that though. I love that idea of like the corruption of like, you got to give your name. Like, what if I give you extra money and I don't give you my name? Like, all right, fair. You know,
Right.
like,
Okay, Mr. Smith. Yeah. And then I love as he walks away, he takes a little satchel with all the money in it. It just sets you up to like, okay, well, maybe he's not as dumb as he looks, you know, but it does like solidify the fact like he's a pirate.
right.
One of my favorite parts in the movie, it's around mid beginning, but like when he first goes down by the interceptor and it's the two guards, the two funny
Yes.
guards, like
The two
kind
guards that
of.
just argue all the time.
And he just like kind of gets on the boat and he just while they're fighting he's just playing at the helm and stuff and they're like the shit, you know, and then he's just like, well, you know, I could have told you the truth knowing you wouldn't believe it, or I could have lied to you, but you know, it's just one of my just reverse psychology is my favorite way to play Survivor, and like I feel like Jack Sparrow would be great at Survivor. Clearly.
Yeah, I mean, he would annoy people with his ego and everything, but because it's Jack Sparrow, like I feel like he would find some way to make it through.
Yeah. He would be helpful. Yeah, he'd be funny for sure.
I'm surprised there hasn't been like a what's it called? An all celebrity Survivor season in all of these seasons that they've done. Like, what if that's season 50 is it's celebrities?
I mean, that status to like legitimately be dirty and gross on camera for 39 days, they're not going to do it.
I think you could probably find 18.
So like number one, the appearance fees would be through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Number two, like what are you gonna do for prize money? Because they're already celebrities, they're already rich anyway. Number three, they tried I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here with like D-listers, and like the ratings were terrible. So like there's that. And then Australia tried it and like they couldn't hack it. They could only get like 12 celebrities in the first place, and it was not good. Like it was not a good season. So like all of the reasons that they don't do it are all there. So like it would be cool.
Yeah, like they've had some like smaller like reality stars like back from the 80s, 90s like come on, but yeah, I just don't think there's enough interest for a bunch of them.
I feel like you could get 18 people. Like random sports stars, actors, or whatever. Any sort of celebrity status.
So I mean, making it too like serious of an answer too, but like when they're celebrities like that, they have a public persona that is different than their like actual like personality. So like you're also asking them to like either reveal that real personality or like force them to be in character 24/7 for the length of time, and like they're also not going to do that. Like
yeah, for sure.
So,
could you imagine I would have to try to be nice for 39 days?
Right.
No fucking way. No
imagine if for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for like 39 days, I had to pretend to be nice to Sarah, right? Like I can do it for like an hour at a time. That's fine. But like eventually I'm going to run out of energy. There's not enough Oreos.
I swear, I would put so many Beatles in your little water canteen. I swear to God. I would. Like every night you go to take a sip because when you wake up, I'm sure you breathe with your mouth open because you probably have some sort of like breathing anemia or whatever that is, asthma. So like when you go to take your sip of water, it's just going to be beetle juice. That's it. And beetle nut. So then you're just going to be drunk.
You say that. You're the pirate drunk on rum.
Why is the rum always gone?
Not drunk enough that I can't fuck with you.
Okay, man, I'll save you, but everybody fucking hates you, asshole.
No.
Yeah, but back to this, like on the two guards argue.
I can't imagine trying to keep me in line. I'm sorry, Jake.
I know. I'm sorry. It's probably a bad idea for us to hang out in person because this is going to be way fucking worse.
But that's the fun part. But like just the two guards that continue to argue, even the fact that these like two side characters, like you jump to the third one and they even get a character arc through the third one, and I'm just like, This is wild.
I do love the idea that like both like the pirates and the like military have a pair of like bumbling idiots.
Yeah.
Like, like that's fun. Like we're all kind of the same.
Yeah. Yeah. So then Elizabeth is gonna about to be Commodore Norrington is about to ask Elizabeth to marry him, and then Elizabeth's corset or whatever, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corset.
Her corset
have one
is
on
too
right
tight,
now.
so she can't breathe and falls back into the ocean, and then Jack goes and saves her, and we get the amazing scene of Jack with his escape plan, and that's where we get the iconic line of you may be the worst pirate I've ever seen. And
Right. That's listen, the only reason he's the worst pirate that they've ever seen is because like 200 or 300 years before Sara was born. Otherwise it'd be her.
But you have heard of me, so
It's crazy the
No,
coin
it is
actually
great.
just
It is
pulsed
good.
like that to let them know.
oh yeah,
That's
why
where it
why did
was.
it pulse like that all of a sudden too?
I don't know.
wonder if,
in the water. I
wonder
think it was the
if-
water.
yeah,
it-
it was because of the water because
Hold
it,
on.
Ocean.
let's
it wants to
let's
get
go
back.
back
Part
to
of the
my, let's go back to my
curse, or-
previous plot hole. What if it pulsed when he was on the ship, and that's why the Black Pearl showed up to that ship? Hmm.
because he was with his mom, so I was right.
Right. No. I mean, not even necessarily with his mom, but just like he was on that ship. It
Yeah.
pulsed then. The Black Pearl came and attacked that ship.
Yeah.
They didn't find the coin
Well-
that time. And now she falls in the water. It pulses again because they end up coming again. So
Right. That's what called. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, they
Maybe.
say
that's a little
They
too much
say-
work to do on our own, but maybe.
in the movie that Bootstrap Bill deserted the Black Pearl because of the mutiny against Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, he
So
said it never
probably,
sat right.
he probably
with him.
left the Black Pearl with his son onto that ship. Then they got attacked. His dad was on like death row, and that's why he made a deal with Davy Jones.
Mhm.
And then Will Turner got saved by all of them.
Yeah,
Unless they explain it in a later movie, it's too much guesswork on our end.
Well, they
It's fine.
do. Well,
moving
next movie they do explain like what happened to Bootstrap Bill, because I mean, like you have the whole Davy Jones stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't remember that, so
Can't wait
maybe it'll make
for you
sense.
to talk
Maybe-
about it.
yeah.
Maybe this time when I see this series movies, like, oh, the second and third one do make sense. Maybe. No promises.
But yeah, then this leads to Will and Jack fighting in the
The best
Smith's
scene.
place, and this is a good fight, and the fact that Jack is trying to wake up the guy that's just sleeping drunk, and then he gets Jack gets knocked out
Yeah.
by that same guy.
no, I just love his like, whoa. It's just my favorite. I do want to go back for just a second. I just want to say Commodore Norrington looks like as old as fucking Kevin. So for him to be like on a ship with like this like 8-year-old girl, and then 10 years later he's like, be my bride, like
Yeah, that is
Weird.
weird.
off brand for a Disney movie, you know what I mean?
I mean, I think it's gross, but they're all adults now, so whatever. I mean, Keira Knightley wasn't 18.
Mhm.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's like Anakin and Padme. Like they get to a certain age and they're just all adults.
True, because what Anakin was like 10 years old.
It's really weird when you think about it. So you just don't.
It is, but that's why. But just like I had to say it because it's just
You just
that's how
want
the brain
to
works.
remind everyone that I'm old. I get it.
Yeah, for sure. I always take every opportunity to make fun of you, 100%.
Same.
Yeah, no, so this fight is awesome. Jack ends up in prison, and this is where we get the attack of the Black Pearl, and Barbossa shows up to get the gold, and he sends his 2 bumbling idiots to go
Yeah. I will say about that sword fight between Will and Jack Sparrow in that blacksmith shop. not only did that have to take like an immense amount of like choreography and like practicing and stuff like that, but I was also watching that Johnny Depp actually learned all the choreography for that scene before he learned who the character Jack Sparrow was. So he could kind of, he already knew the moves. So then he just kind of had to adapt the character to those moves. And I think just like the subtle things, the way he does, the way he looks, the way he like kind of just moves a little drunkenly, like it just is so perfectly portrayed. So I just wanted to say that because I like to
I
talk.
love that fight scene.
Yeah.
What a great fight scene. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. It's a good scene. The stakes aren't too high at that point because like they're the two stars of the movie, so they're not going to kill each other. But like it is fun and it shows off their abilities.
Yeah. And even like, I don't know, like you have Jack also being like, you know, testing what Will knows because like he's just meeting him and learning his fighting style. So even like he's trying to like, you know, walk through like the movements and stuff at the beginning of the fight too, which is pretty fun.
And like shows off their like their ability to think on their feet while they're fighting. Like it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Introduces us to sword fighting. It's good.
Why do I feel like I'm Jack Sparrow, Kevin's Will Turner, and Cameron's Elizabeth Swann?
Wait, who am I then? My Barbosa?
No, Barbosa dies. You could be who lives? The governor lives. But
okay, I can be the freaking governor fighting over his wig.
Fucking pissed. Oh, cool, the fucking wig guy. Yeah, thanks.
I'm trying to think of who's alive at the end.
I don't know.
You don't want to be Norrington.
Wait, I can be Gibbs.
Fucking I take Gibbs. He's smart. He knows his maps and shit. He's a smart dude.
I'll take Gibbs. All right. So yes, so then the Barbosa attack, and I also thought it was like funny how like they even like knock at the door to the Swan's house, and the stupid guy just literally opens up the door.
Yeah, how do you not know there's a siege going on, my guy?
But yeah, so it leads to Parlay, and of course, like Elizabeth getting herself taken to Barbosa. So.
Puppet.
But
again, too, like showing how smart the character, like showing how she like was able to think on her feet in that situation, and like it was a good intro to like she's not just the damsel in distress, you know?
Right. She did that. She asked to do that herself because it's the way to get her out of that situation of getting killed. So.
For sure. It was like, that's like Parlay is just like having a whistle, like, whoop, whoop, time out. Just love it. But I do like that thing about pirates that they do, like, even though, like, you know, pillage and plunder, all that, there are still like a code that you're expected to follow kind of thing.
They're more like guidelines.
More like
guidelines, exactly. But now that I'm thinking, Kevin might be Barbosa because I feel like we just fight. And Cameron would be Will Turner. Cameron, you kind of look like him, you handsome fuck.
Yeah, I can see that now.
I look like Orlando Bloom.
You do. With the bucket hat, especially.
Well, because Sara and Kevin would absolutely fight over who has the bigger telescope.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we'd fight over the ship. Yeah, oh yeah. That would, I can 100%
I bet Kevin has the bigger telescope.
I mean, you know I do, but Sarah's still going to fight with me about it.
I think we're going to have to pull him out. Pull out your telescopes.
Yoink!
Oh my goodness.
God damn it.
That is bigger, Sara.
I love it. Yeah, if I do it, we're going to get censored. So.
Yeah, I prefer let's not actually pull our dicks.
Who said dicks, Jake?
We were talking about telescopes, Jake. What are you talking about?
Come on, Jake. Get your head out of the gutter.
What does this look like to you, friend? I don't know. Maybe you get those eyes checked. I don't know. Clearly, it's a telescope.
Orlando Bloom on the mind.
Literally a telescope.
So yeah, I mean, is there? And then we get like Will even like encountering like the fact that these guys are cursed, like the guy with the bombs, like he realizes he already knocked this dude or like threw an axe in this guy's back, and the guy's still like up moving and whatnot. So
yeah, that's a great scene. And again, I think it's just a testament to the actors acting, because like they just, the way Will looks at him, it truly looks so shocked and confused, like what the hell is happening? Like nowadays I feel like a lot of actors just aren't as believable, and like this is just one of those movies that like I really did believe I was immersed in this world. So
well, and it keeps like, I want to say this, like it keeps like in the time that it's set in, like they don't deviate from anything that wouldn't be in the times of the pirates.
yeah, they even, the pistols that Jack used, they even went, and like all the other pistols, they went and rented a bunch of like real like 1700s like pistols and like recreated a bunch of them from like actual ones, so that way they had it like time period correct. Like their art department was very much on par for sure.
Yeah.
The bomb guy definitely takes advantage of his situation of being immortal, like running around with bombs. Come on. This guy knows what he got himself into. He took that gold willingly to have his bomb fantasies.
And his beard is always on fire. Like whenever you see him in the rest of the movie, his beard is always on fire. And they stuck like incense, like wicks in his beard, and they would have to light them for like each scene, and like it would always smell like burning hair around this guy. And sometimes like in fighting scenes when he would like whip it or he'd be moving, he would get burnt or he'd burn other people. So like it was, I mean, that's one thing I guess they could have CGI'd. It seems like that was a little problematic looking back.
That's something now they would CGI, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't look as good.
No, it wouldn't. But so then, I mean, I guess we can jump ahead to like we get to see Elizabeth on the ship now, and we get to see like our first look at like the skeletal curse as well, which again, as we said, looks great still.
The colorization that they did with this part of the movie I think was great. It's just very dark, that blue green kelpy grime, like, you know, just even that dinner scene where she's having dinner with Barbossa, like it's so dark, but it's just perfect. I really do enjoy that. And that's like one I'd like to touch on, just like I really like ships, and like, but the Black Pearl is just such a cool ship. Like I would love to just have a black ship. You don't see that. It's different, and I like it.
I loved that she was like, I don't believe in ghost stories, right? And then like that's the turnaround. Like she finds out, she sees them all like as the cursed crew, as skeletons, like doing everything, and she comes back to the door and he's like, well, you better, because you're in one. Like, loved it.
He's a fantastic actor. Oh
Jeffrey Rush, yeah,
seriously, just amazing. And just even the way he like eats the apples and there's the spit flying, like it's like but it's like, oh, I believe it though, like, but you know?
The wine hitting his bones when he's drinking and just spilling out. You're like, oh my gosh,
it's so good.
Has no right to be that good.
Right, for a Disney movie, like, god damn.
Just any movie, honestly. It was so convincing.
Yeah, but for them to do it in such a way without ever saying fuck or like, you know, without going too far to where you would think a pirate movie would go with the sex and the drinking and the drugs and the smoke, you know, but it's not. It's very on. It stays on course, and
it's still on brand.
Yeah. And then you even show like the one pirate literally smacks Elizabeth in the face, and it's like, you know, you're literally showing women getting hit in this movie. Like that's not something you would think Disney would show. So
yeah, one of my favorite parts is when she's standing on the plank and that guy's just like, this is fucking taking too long. See ya.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
Yeah. But like I appreciate like the nod to women of the time not being treated well, but then also Elizabeth Swann like not having any of that shit. Right. You know, like yes, this is what people did, but also like she stood up for herself.
Right. True.
Right. Yeah. And especially, I don't know if you've seen the last of them, but what she ends up becoming, like, it's like kind of a funny story of, just her being all uptight in her corset, can't breathe, to being like a master of the
demon.
seas kind of thing. It's a nice story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Turns into
remember.
Cthulhu.
Yeah. I didn't want to say too much, so I didn't ruin it for you, Kevin. But yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. So then we have Jack and Will. Will breaks Jack out of prison. We have the whole boat scene, which doesn't make any sense because they shouldn't have like that breathing space when they're underwater. But
that also, there's no way that they could do that.
They tested it on Mythbusters. It works.
Thank you.
Wait, they did?
They did, and it works.
How?
What did they attach to the boat? So the thing is that like the air that they have to breathe, fine, sure. How are they sinking that boat to keep it underwater with the air bubble? Like that, the boat is meant to float, the air bubble is floating, and they are like humans. Some people who have like a very high
Will
muscle
did step into that crab trap, so maybe that weighed him down.
But yeah, like
And there's your answer.
that would not work. That would not work.
I
Unless
would
they
like
had
to
like
talk about with Will breaking Jack out of prison, though. Like, okay, I totally get it. Like, Will helped build the cell, but you're just telling me at some point, like, no, they didn't jam pack the gallows full of prisoners and they weren't in there, like, trying, like, it wouldn't, just one time, so bullshit.
Well, all the other prisoners escaped because the wall of their cell got blown out.
Well, I mean, at any time,
Yeah.
even before that,
Yeah,
none
I
of
know
them
what
tried
you
to
mean.
break out. Yeah,
I think it was just kind of like a
convenience.
good way
but yeah.
to reference that like he's a blacksmith, so like he does more than just make swords. Like
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
also made
sure.
a jail cell. Like he has a set of skills.
Right. Yeah.
He will find you. I do love that dog though, when he's just like, "Come here, you mangy peck of fucking cat," and dog just leaves. See ya.
Even the freaking dog gets a character arc in this trilogy. Like,
Yes.
That's so funny. I love that dog.
Mm.
Yeah,
like,
I love they're all yelling at the dog, and he's like, "It's not gonna come just because you don't stop." Like,
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, and this next scene, I believe now we're talking about them, getting on that one ship, and this is where they do the fake out to commandeer the other one, correct?
yes.
Yeah.
Like, just 100% loved it. Like, I love how they even flash to, like, in the telescope, these idiots are trying to take the ship, and, like, Jack's just trying to tell him what to do, and Will's just fucking with shit, and, they're like, let's just search the fucking ship, let's find them, and then they're smart enough to, like, we're just gonna come over to the ship that's already ready, see ya. Like, truly, I mean, just, they depicted it great, the acting in it was great. I just love this movie so much. Damn it.
It's so good. So then they get to Tortuga and they start putting together the crew. They get Gibbs out of the mud. And then and Jack gets smacked by a couple women that he was with before. So
Right.
Scandalous little dog, Jack.
Right. Scarlett and Giselle were holding back no shit when they smacked him.
I deserved that one.
Right.
Also, good reference to like Elizabeth Swann got smacked, so does he. Like,
Yep. So then the crew gets put together, and so interesting fact, I know that the little pirate, the little person pirate, he was actually, so my high school had a celebrity versus like high school like all-star basketball game, and I can't remember the actor's name, but he was one of because I think the celebrity team was all little people playing basketball, and he was one of them. So it was really.
I imagine they kicked ass. I bet too.
Yeah, they I think they won, if I remember back to that high school game. So, but it's just funny thinking back, like recognizing him, and then you have Cotton with his parrot, and he's mute because his tongue got cut out.
I love that scene. Cotton's parrot. Same question. Just so good.
And then you have Zoe Saldana appeared in the only movie in the series as this pirate that never returns again, which is interesting to see Gamora like 10 years before she got like, well, I guess because she was in Avatar as well, so that came before Guardians, but like it was like Avatar, the first Avatar came like 5 years after this, and then Guardians came like 5 years after that. So
Well, she probably didn't come back for any movies because obviously, I mean, she stated what she wanted on that doc. All she wanted was a ship back from Jack Sparrow. So she probably got that interceptor and fucking got out of there real quick.
Yeah.
Interceptor,
Didn't the interceptor blow up?
didn't they say it was the fastest in the sea besides the Black Pearl? So hell yeah, I would have taken that as a trade and
But
been way out
didn't
of
the
there.
interceptor get blown up?
I think so.
Did it? I can't remember now. Then she's probably real pissed. Yeah.
Yeah, in the chase scene, they drop the anchor because they're getting like Black Pearl is catching up to them. So they drop the anchor and like twist it around to fight. And then I'm pretty sure because Will goes down below deck in the interceptor to get the coin.
Was that the Interceptor or the Dauntless?
And then he's stuck down there. He can't get back up. I'm pretty sure it's the interceptor because it's supposed to be the fastest ship.
Okay. I'll
Because
have
they
to
were
watch
like,
it again.
how is the Black Pearl catching us? This is supposed to be the fastest ship. And she's like, I don't know what to tell you, but they are.
Because it's the Black Pearl. So the captain of that.
So yeah, she's pissed because she didn't get her interceptor, but she had it for a minute. So like maybe she's like, okay, well,
Right. Like technically she was the captain for like a second.
deal fulfilled.
Yeah, clearly around pirates, you have to be very careful with your words because just like Elizabeth Swann said, like you have to leave port and never come back again. She never said without me, so oops.
Whoopsie.
That's how I would like kidnap Kevin for sure. Like you didn't say I had to drop you off at home, so you're coming home with me now.
Aw.
I mean, that assumes that I allow myself to be found by you.
See,
Just leave, like,
chloroform is
just-
a hell of a drug.
Just leave like a little unicorn in places where I've been and be like, oh, sorry, just missed you.
I would put some chloroform in your cats first, so when you go to snuggle them at night, it would knock you out, and that's how I would get you for 100%.
My goodness.
Jeez. Sarah's elaborate plan to kill Kevin.
Right.
Pirate, you gotta
There's a
think
lot
on
of
your
plan to
feet.
apparently kill my cats too.
No, not the kitties. Kitties are okay, just like enough just to knock you out. They're fine. No animals will ever be harmed under me, just you mostly.
Jeez. All right. Well, so there's a lot of other stuff that happens now. So I mean, like they take Elizabeth to like the cave with all like the Aztec gold, and this is where they find out she is not a Turner like they thought. She is a Swan. So ultimately, like they realize they need to get Will now, and then this leads to the Pearl versus like the Interceptor, right? So this is a good fight. You know, you have them loading like the cannons of the Interceptor with like forks and stuff, which is hilarious.
It's so funny because like they're dropping everything to go faster and then they need something. So then they're just shoving whatever they have left into the cannons. And then the guy with a fake eye, like looks at the fork sticking out of his eye.
And pulls it.
And just like,
Yeah, that's a great scene. They had to do a lot of work to like make that look like right and for the treasure and just the cave. One thing I do love about that scene though is like even though we've watched this movie and we kind of see like this fun rivalry between like Will and Jack, but they're working together and you kind of see they're getting close, but Jack was telling Will in like the little alcove, right? You know, while Barbossa's spitting on whatever, like Kevin just talking fucking dumbass shit. But then like he tells him like you have to wait till like the most opportune moment. And like I think it kind of alluded in that film that he was gonna offer up Will in exchange for like the pearl and everything like that. So even though they had built this friendship this whole movie, Jack being a pirate would have offered Will up the first chance he could have got. And it didn't obviously end up working like that, but like it just goes to show like you can't trust a pirate.
why do you think I never trust you?
I was gonna say you have two people here who will never trust you again.
If you do, you'll learn the lesson that I learned. So
I mean, to be fair, like Kevin and I did work good together in that mini. It's just, I
did.
guess I found out he would have taken Erica over me. So never again, Kevin.
I just like Erica. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, also, Kevin knew he would be Erica. So.
Right. Well, I knew that there was a jury full of villains. So if I go with a villain,
True.
Now I almost wish I picked Michael. Just kidding.
I wish you did too, because then I could have voted for him instead of you.
I was gonna say then Michael wins the game.
ooh,
Yeah, I know. It's like, God, do I take the L just to get Kevin on the jury? Maybe.
Just to break Kevin's heart right before the
I had already made a pass where I thought I was going to get to, so there was no heartbreak involved.
All right, so then this is where Jack and Elizabeth get stranded on the island because Will wants Elizabeth to not be harmed. Barbosa then kicks them off the boat. They get stranded on the island with the rum, and we find out Jack's like legendary story of being stranded and getting off the island with strapping sea turtles together is fake, and he was actually picked up by rum runners, right?
Yeah. But I mean, like, pirate, though, right? Are you really just going to be like, oh, yeah, this other fucking shit picked me up? Or are you going to be like, I found 3 polar bears and made them swim the ocean? You know, like, come on.
Right.
I love that Will was like, so what did he use to strap the turtles? Like, no one's gonna question. They're just like, oh, you strapped 2 turtles and rode them? And they just believe it. And Will's like, how?
Right. Did you have a saddle? Like
pirate magic. Good old pirate magic. That's all.
Yar.
That's all. Yar.
I fucking hate when you guys say that because I know you're fucking with me.
Yeah.
Yar it, Sarah.
Yar, right?
Oh my god. I got branded with the wrong nickname.
Rip.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I didn't do it. I can't remember who. It was one of the mods on Vanquish. They said it first, and then that's just we went.
You
with it.
put the pirate flag up.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, but it was because
It
our
was for
theme is
Treasure
Island. So I was just meant to be like a backdrop mostly for Treasure Island, but I turned into the pirate. Honestly, do you guys know? Fuck, what's that guy's name? Why? Oh, the guy that plays it. Why am I fucking up right now? Who's the guy that plays it?
Howie Mandel.
Shut the fuck up, Cameron. Who's the guy that plays it? He's also in
Plays what?
Plays what?
It. He plays it. The clown.
Bill Skarsgård.
Oh.
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård.
No, the other one, the old one.
Oh,
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, he plays in like a pirate movie. It's called Treasure Island. Like,
Mhm.
have you guys seen that? That's also a really good movie. I love that movie. You should check it out.
I just want to go back.
Like, he plays it, and you guys are like,
Well,
What?
I didn't know what you meant. His name is Pennywise.
that's right. Why didn't I say that? Yeah.
Right. As like a future incarnation of Pennywise, I don't know how you didn't know your own future name.
Fuck you.
I thought it was Beetlejuice, and that's why we can't say Pirate Sarah 3 times.
I heard Greg said once if you say Pirate Sarah 3 times, I get cast in an org. So
Oh,
Somebody
Careful.
said we can't shut up, so.
I'm so
all
sorry,
right.
Jake,
Next
for
Jakey
fucking up
poo.
your show.
No, you're good. This is what
This is
everybody tunes in for. So then they use Will to get the blood, or they're about to. Then the British attack because the British pick up Jack and Elizabeth, and we get the British versus the skeleton crew, and you have the 2 idiots that are dressing up as women to trick them while their fellow pirates just come on and start slitting throats.
It's so stupid. It's so funny.
Kevin, I thought you said you weren't watching Drag Race last night.
It also just like, don't spoil Drag Race. I haven't had a chance to watch it because I watched it. Yeah,
That's
that was my little taste of Drag Race. Yeah, like it's so dumb and it's so fun. Like, why would two women be in a little rowboat right now? Like, what are you like? So dumb, so funny. And then meanwhile, the actual skeletons are like in the water underneath because they can't die. Like, like good and also hilarious.
Yeah.
Agreed. What do you think, Pirate Sarah? Oh, okay. I thought she would be. Yeah.
She thinks she's in a tornado right now. She's getting whipped all over that house.
Welcome to our podcast of Twister with Pirate Sarah.
He's in a tsunami.
I probably think I'm fucking crazy. What was the question? Sorry.
We don't think you know it.
What?
We're talking about the British versus the cursed Black Pearl crew.
Okay, what about?
I mean, your thoughts on it, just in general, this whole like sequence.
I mean, after the whole buildup of the whole movie of kind of Jack Sparrow fucking with the two bumbly guards and kind of, I mean, it was bound to happen, you know, kind of resistance against the government kind of thing. I mean, it was bound to happen. I thought it was a great scene. Of course, I love murder. I love a good throat slit. I do think it was incredibly dark for a Disney movie. Definitely not something I expected them to portray. I mean, there were a couple shots where like you could see it done kind of in the shadows where you can kind of see the motion and you can kind of guess what's going to happen, but there was a lot of like stabbings and cuttings and just stuff that was done right in your face that I did not expect. So like as a horror fan, I did like it. I also like that it wasn't overdone, going back to like they could have overdone it with the sex and the drugs and the titties, whatever, but like they didn't overdo it with the gore, which I appreciated because I'm one for like, I just love the simplicity of pirates and the plundering and the curses and the code. Like, good scene, good almost ending to the movie.
Yeah, they have like the bloodless throat slits, which are good, but then they do use the blood like on the sword and when Barbossa gets shot to show that like to show that they're back to being human, like the curse is lifted. But like for the most part, the rest of it is just like, I mean, the skeletons aren't going to bleed, and then like all the British just like fall down.
It's like a really good way also to get like these kind of sub characters away from our main cast that are doing their thing in the cave, so that you can just cut between them and like you're not having just like the mass audience to take away from the drama of the scene.
True.
Which I liked. Good filming.
I too. Yeah, and this is where we get the governor versus the arm and like
so stupid.
Fighting over his wig.
I mean, it's good. That actor did a good job at like just portraying like the like just, you know, like the pompous, just kind of royal man back then. Like, ew, God.
I love the idea that he insists on going, knowing he's going to like encounter pirates. And then when he encounters pirates, he's like, oh,
there's pirates here? Like, yeah, seriously.
Like so fun. Like such a like out of touch rich governor thing to do. Hilarious.
Right. And just think how we had to like, cope with all that. Like, not knowing what his daughter has all been through this whole time. So like, and she's just a badass at this point, you know, and he's just like, my wig. Like,
right. Yeah. And like going back to like, she does things on her own. Like she is rough and tumble. Like she gets thrown into the situation and she's like, she's surviving, she's fighting away. And he's like, don't touch my wig. Like she could have wound up like him. She could have wound up like him, but she didn't. So like, good for you, Elizabeth Swann.
And it's funny how it's the opposite with Will.
Dog in her.
Like how Will believed all his life that his dad was like a merchant sailor and he was a good man, but like there was always that part of Will, like even being a blacksmith, he was obviously very skilled with a sword and things like that. So like how all things just kind of led up to him eventually kind of being like a freelance pirate. So it's fun how it just kind of, everyone let loose. It's kind of like Keira Knightley's like corset. Everything was so tight in the beginning, and then as the movie goes on, it's just titties everywhere.
Isn't that always the case?
Boobs.
Boobs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Boom
I didn't say fire truck.
He's got demonetized.
100%. We lost it. We fucked up. I didn't even show my cat, and we got demonetized. Or I'm sorry, my dick. That's right. I have a dick.
Yeah.
Your dick anchor that you swing around the ship.
My dick anchor. That's right. My trusty dick anchor. Could you imagine me being a skeleton with that thing? God damn.
Oh my gosh.
This has gone off the rails, but it's fine.
Yeah,
All right, so then the cave fight with Jack and Will with Barbossa and the couple other pirates. This is just so cool. Jack becomes cursed like by taking the gold, and then just like him and Barbossa switching back and forth mid-fight. Like it's just such a cool sequence.
Yeah.
And then obviously ends with them being able to break the curse and then kill Barbossa at the same time, which is cool.
Yeah, that's scene done so good. I love that. I love that transition scene, and just like how even as crazy as Jack seems and no one believes him, he's usually mostly right. And like he strategically thought out like touching the gold and like just taking that piece and baiting Barbossa somehow into stabbing him and using it against him. Like he's clearly strategic. So I did like that.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about Jack Sparrow as a character. Again, like he is a mix between being a complete buffoon and being like actually a really savvy pirate.
I mean, because he's really smart, he's just also a drunken pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like how he shoots Barbossa and then drops the coins though, because everybody else who gets stabbed before the coins drop is fine, except Barbossa who gets shot and then drop. Just drop the coins, cut it different. They just cut it.
I would have liked if just like the way they edited it, the coin fell in and then he pulled the trigger.
Not the biggest deal, but like just had to bring it up because I was just like, just do it the other way.
No, agree. You're right.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
You and your pink little bucket hat. You have a point.
You like it? Stop.
I do.
So fluffy.
If only you wore that during Order of the Phoenix when we talked about Umbridge.
Oh my God, what am I doing?
Now we got to redo the whole thing. Let's just start it all over.
Back.
We'll watch
Start it all over.
Well, let's just start it at Goblet of Fire, though.
Oh God, no!
The best movie in the franchise. Wish I was there to fight for it a little harder. Kevin, yeah, you better look away. I don't even want to hear what you have to say. Justice, I don't want to hear. You've done your damage. We're on to it.
I would just say I enjoyed this movie more than that movie.
I agree with that.
If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
I enjoyed this movie. That's the nice thing.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, can't wait to get to the other ones, and now I have to defend them to hell.
No, you won't. I think Kevin's gonna watch them and he's gonna be like, damn, I hate that I have to agree that I like this movie.
Well, at least the next two, 4 and 5, we can all agree to shit on.
Hey, I don't agree. I like mermaids and I like Blackbeard and I like
I liked Blackbeard. I didn't like his daughter.
yeah, his daughter sucks, but the
Well,
mermaids,
we'll get there when we get there.
Finnick Odair from Hunger Games in it.
Ooh, I love me.
I
some
know,
Finnick.
right? I know. There's some benefits to the other movies, but it's not the plot.
We'll
It's
get
not
to
the
it.
fountain of youth, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I watched these movies for the plot, and the plot is Orlando Bloom and Finnick Odair.
Just wait till Poseidon shows up. Ugh.
All right. Well, let's keep on track with this one. And so then after this, then we get Norrington getting promoted to Commodore, and then and Jack is supposed to get executed. And Will saves Jack, and they completely make a mess of the British with, I love like the rope when Jack and Will just like clothesline a couple of British.
Their little teamwork is so good. I do like, a part of me was like watching, I was like, well, the movie's over, so you just have to have them walk away. Like, but like, you had them completely surrounded. Like, this man was about to be executed. He's completely surrounded with no weapon now. He put it down. So like, but like, whatever, it's the end of the movie. They gotta let him go. Escape.
Well, but then you have Jack literally in the middle
When
of
he
a
falls,
line just
when he
slipping
falls
and
by
falling.
accident, when he is about to give his big speech and then instead he just falls, hilarious.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
I love that.
Oh, yeah. And then his crew comes back for him, and then like he's officially back as captain of the Black Pearl. And yeah, yo ho, and that's how the movie ends. So
Yo ho.
Shut up,
Pirate
Cameron.
Sarah,
Yo-ho.
you need to start saying that when you greet and say goodbye.
Right.
Yeah,
When you say
I'll
yo
do
ho, I'll just
something.
be like, you called?
Yo ho.
All right, I can make that work.
So any other thoughts now that we have gone through it before I guess we'll be giving letter grades for this movie, but any other thoughts on Curse of the Black Pearl?
Just great movie all around. I think again the acting chemistry is great. I think I touched on like Will and Elizabeth and Jack, but again like even just taking that away and just doing like the Jack and Barbosa, like that rivalry, it just seems so pure and real. Like just again in the acting, like I just feel the loathing from Barbosa. Like it's just a great movie all around. It was a great way to like give us a little bit of Barbosa and then like kind of a lot at the end, and then where he's obviously more of a bigger character in the next movies and stuff, so it's just nice.
True. Yeah, I'm assuming we'll get more thoughts here in a minute after when we rank it. So I mean, villain, I mean, we can rank Barbosa here. I mean, I'm gonna give Barbosa an A just because of a letter grade, just because he was a really good villain. Really great CGI there, and like Barbosa's like a smart villain. He, very clear motivations and a goal.
Right.
So like
The motivations are what really makes him work. Like, he's not just bad to be bad. Like,
right.
No, like I've been literally miserable for years because of you.
Right.
And I'm gonna make you pay for it.
Exactly.
I love Barbosa. I give him an A.
Yeah. We all
Yeah,
in agreement.
I would too. Good captain,
And
good storyline.
The CGI, the reveal of him stepping out and becoming the skeleton.
Good. Very good.
Love.
Oh, and then we have not to rank him, but we also forgot to mention Jack the monkey. This entire
I love Jack the monkey. Always a little nuisance taking shit we need.
Yeah.
It's just so good. Yeah, like, oh, thanks, Jack. And he's just like, thank you. He's like, oh, not you. We named the monkey Jack.
Right.
He's like, what
I
the
mean,
fuck?
maybe
Like
you can tell by the way I
that-
have 8
that-
pets that like I love animals, so I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something me or Kevin would do, like name one of our pets after the other one, so we could just be like, come here, bitch.
Right. Name one of my pets Pirate Sarah, so that when I say something nice about Pirate Sarah, I wasn't talking to you.
All right. Let's rank Curse of the Black Pearl. So I'm probably also gonna give that. I mean, I'm probably gonna say like A minus. I mean, it's a really good movie. Like this is a movie that I grew up with as well, and like it still holds up as well as it does 21 years later, which is impressive. So yeah, I think an A minus, maybe just like a couple conveniences or plot holes, but like
Yeah. No, I would agree that it's I would say an A minus as well, just because like so much does still hold up so well 20 years later. There are some plot holes, but I mean I would also say in its defense too that like this is from an era where like you made one movie and like maybe that movie did really well, and because it did really well you ended up getting offered, do you want to make a sequel? Like whereas now when they plan a movie, they plan the sequels in advance. So like there's also that element of like I think of like we don't have to have this like overarching like this huge story about what happened to Will because we're making one movie. So like I can also forgive the kind of like gobbledygook.
right.
They do plant a lot of seeds though for things that are to come, like the compass and bootstrap and all that jazz. But you're right. It feels like if this was the only pirate movie, you couldn't tell that there would be more because it was just a good conclusion to the movie overall.
Right. Like they could have ended and never made another one, and this would still be a good movie.
Right. I agree.
I think you're only saying that because you haven't watched the other ones.
I'm telling you, I watched 2 and 3. I didn't, and I watched them, and I just remember sitting there being like, "What?" Just like, what is happening? And then I think at the end, Will is the new Davy Jones.
Who knows? I guess you're gonna have to rewatch.
I don't remember.
Well,
it's something like,
we
she
don't
waits for
really
him.
want to count. We don't really want to count
Uh.
how it makes any sense for like the fifth one. I mean, fifth one pretty much retcons everything.
Like, so I just remember sitting there and I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then I just didn't watch 4 and 5 because I didn't watch them at home. I just never got around to it. But like, I wasn't going to the theater to like continue to be confused.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what?
But
if I want to watch drunk people stumble around, just go downtown.
yeah. Yeah, are we in agreement for like an A-? I mean, Sarah, you got any thoughts? Are you gonna say a higher grade or?
It is like the story of her life being a pirate.
How would you say, Kevin?
Is that it is like the story of your life about being a pirate. So like, I understand if you want to give it a higher grade.
Seriously, like honestly, my name couldn't fit me more after, because it is. I've just had to learn to adapt and overcome my entire life. As far as this movie, just the movie alone, like you guys said, like it could have been a standalone movie. They didn't. They could have just left it like that, but obviously there was enough money in it to keep going. But the movie alone, and even for a Disney film, it gave me enough blood. It gave me enough storyline. It gave me enough lore, and just like good filming that like I feel like it is a really, really good film. I would say probably an A-, even like maybe an A+ for me, just because again, like I enjoyed it so much as a child because it was one of those movies where like that inspired me to be really into like pirates in the sea and ships and stuff like that. But then again, as an adult, I enjoy it even more because it has still that same effect with the lore and the pirates and the blood. Like it still hits just as good.
So I would say if this is what inspired you, then I'm actually going to lower the score.
I hate you. I just hate you. To be fair, the Titanic was the first ship I loved, but seeing like Disney, because there really aren't a lot of movies that are about pirates for kids. Like we kind of talked about the Tim Curry Treasure Island thing, but that's not something that everybody's seen. How many of you have seen that? Kevin, I'm sure you have.
Disney also made Treasure Planet as well off of that.
I think the Goonies also counts as like a pirate kind of movie.
Because I believe like it was Muppet Treasure Island what Tim Curry did, so it was like with the Muppets, and so like so even it being like a kid's like wah 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 thing, like the way Tim Curry portrayed a pirate was just so like wow, because there just aren't a lot of movies that give us that. You hear of pirates, they're just drunk walking around. You'd never get like a story on them. So I feel like Pirates of the Caribbean was one of the first like Universal films that everyone's seen that like gave you a depiction of pirates.
Right.
Like,
and I mean, I will say too that like a lot of the times the pirates are the bad guys, right? Like Captain Hook is the bad guy, right? Like, so usually that's the story. So like for Captain Jack to still be like a messy drunken pirate who like is really smart but also like makes bad decisions and like sinks his ship sometimes, like for him to be the hero of the story is also a good like new thing
to have him be one of the most iconic movie characters of all time at this point.
Yes
they could have easily like made Will the main character because he's not an evil person in any way, right?
Well, and
they
now
really
going kind of going back on my words there, I guess I would say the first Universal pirate film would have probably been with Robin Williams when he did Hook. That's a fantastic movie there in itself. But again, that's one of those ones that depicts the pirates as the really bad guys, and they give you, the generalized stripes and sword fighting, but they don't give you a lot of depth into them, so it's more the Lost Boys. So I liked the
I hate
approach
nothing more than when I have an idea in my head and then Sarah says it out loud. Like,
Yeah.
God damn it. Because Hook was the movie that I was like picturing when I was talking. So shut up, Sarah.
Hook is so great.
I know. I hate that we are so much alike, and it just bothers me. It's annoying.
All right. So yeah, it sounds like we're gonna give an A- to Curse of the Black Pearl.
I'll give it an
Unless-
A+.
A+. Okay.
So I think that equals out at an A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that does.
Yeah, I
think
said, yeah,
that-
I would say A+ too, because then, yeah, 2-2.
Okay.
I love this one. It's the one I rewatch probably the most because it's just always a good time. There's no bad part about it. You can just jump in and enjoy it, you know?
Yeah, the first and the second one are my favorites for sure.
I am a huge fan of Dead Man's Chest, that at least that I can remember, so I'm excited to get into that. I guess it'll be 2 weeks because we're gonna do Survivor trivia next week. So
Yeah, and when we do the next podcast, I'll get to make fun of Kevin because his team lost.
Me too. Get wrecked.
yeah,
Who didn't even know who's on the
Something
team?
better than both of you.
Whatever. I was gonna say, Cameron, why don't we just join teams and just go against Kevin? 12 to
I mean, it wouldn't be too hard. Kevin's gonna be what, studying on the scrolls he has in his library? Like, come on now. The
Listen,
ancient
just because-
tablets of
just
Borneo.
because
Like, come on.
I was alive and watching Survivor and like able to write at that time, and you two were still both like babies. Does not make me that much older than you. I mean, sure, I wrote on a scroll with a quill, but that's not the point.
I was at a ripe 3 years old, I think.
Right. I may or may not have lead poisoning from all the times I had to lick the quill and get it clean, but it's
All right. Well, we're very excited for Survivor trivia next week as well. And then, then Dead Man's Chest will be the next one. And also we got our Survivor Pearl Islands binge going on with Will and JJ. Spoiler alert, Will has watched the entire rest of the season, so not really sure that we're going to be able to give Will's predictions anymore, but
we've turned Will into an addict. He now has a problem. He's had to give up chocolate milk for Survivor now.
Yeah. Yep. Among other things. Let's not go into this, but
It will be demonetized for sure.
All right. Well, we will see you next week, or I guess the next podcast will be Pearl Islands, but after that, Survivor trivia next week with these three as the captains. So we will see you all next time on the Tribe of Nerds.
Bye.
Fuck you, Kevin.